Hey, it's Ruby. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I want to go through my summer TBR. I did have a spring TBR and I will pop in how we did somewhere up here on the screen because I only did, I guess, mediocre since I only got through half of the books on the list. Out of the 10, I only got through 5, so that kind of sucks. But I was very mindful of what I chose for my summer TBR. I'm not really doing monthly TBRs anymore. I do them occasionally if I feel like it, but for the most part these are the TBRs that I like because it's just not as restrictive, and as a mood reader it's just better for me. But spring and summer for me are like romancy months, and then fall and winter are fantasy months. But I do have a good little mix of books that I want to get through, and it's just books that I've really wanted to be like, I just really wanted to read them. That's really it. There's no rhyme or reason. So let's go through the books that I have physically first, and then the ones that I don't. So first up, let's start with romance because summer is for romance. I really want to read Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled. The third book in this series will be coming out later on this month, I think at the end of the year, and I want to have these read for when that one comes out. But I love the covers of these books, so I'm hoping that I love these books. I feel like even if I didn't, I wouldn't get rid of them because I love the covers that much. I don't know why. And I'm sad because I dropped this one and I totally damaged it, but it's okay. I'm definitely ready to read these, and I know that I will be. The next ones that I want to read are the Chestnut Springs series. We have all 5 books here, starting with Flawless and ending with Hopeless. I really want to read these books because I've heard nothing but great things about them, and I think that when I read these, I want to do kind of a reading vlog where I read all 5 of them and then I rank them. I think that'll be fun because everybody seems to have a different favorite. For the most part, the ones that I've seen that are the most favorited are Heartless and Reckless, from what I've seen the people say. But I don't know. I mean, we all have different tastes, so I can't wait to read these and see how I feel about them. These are available on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can totally get them that way and you don't have to purchase the physical copies. But I really wanted these copies. I think they're really nice, and I really like the mirror copies, but obviously those are out of print, so these were the second best for me. And the US covers I don't really love because they kind of cut out the words. I don't know, they don't center them like they do with the UK copies, which is weird to me. But I really want to get through the Chestnut Spring series also. And then a standalone that I think will be really fun and beautiful, from what I've heard people say, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. This is readily available like on Hoopla. You can get it on Libby. I really want to read this. I think it's going to be a beautiful book, and I just think it's gorgeous. It's stunning. I love the cover. I got one for my brother and one for myself so we can both read it. I just hope that it's amazing. I've heard that people really like this one, and they really like Tress of the Emerald Sea, but I don't feel too drawn to Tress. People say that it's like The Princess Bride. I've never read / watched that, so I have no idea what that means. This one though was definitely on my radar. We have Yumi and Nightmare, and they're from 2 different planets, and they end up in a like Freaky Friday situation where they switch essentially bodies. They swap bodies, but I think it's more like a consciousness thing, and they live very different lives, so they learn to appreciate the things that each one deals with. I think it's just going to be really sweet. And I didn't touch up too much on the romances because I feel like who doesn't know what their cowboy romance is? We all know what they're about. Next up, I started this trilogy a couple years ago. I read the first book and I read some of the second book, but I didn't finish it. At this point, I need to reread everything because I don't remember it. And that is the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. This is the first trilogy, and then of course we have the other books. I think right now there's 3, but there might be another one coming. And I feel like everybody says that that one is better than this one, but this one's still amazing. I read Red Rising before and I thought it was great. I really liked it. I don't remember loving it, but this was a couple of years ago. At least, I mean, definitely more than 3 years ago, I feel like. Probably. So, Red Rising, in this universe, we follow Darrow, and he is a red. In this universe, there's a caste system based on colors. So, there's reds, pinks, greens, golds. There's all kinds of colors, right? And they're each in the pyramid of the caste system, and the lowly reds do all the grunt work, all the, physical labor, all the stuff that nobody wants to do. And then at the very top, we have the golds, and they're the ones in politics. They're the ones that rule and govern everything. And our main character, Darrow, is a red who suffers this loss and really is part of this whole revolution. And it's just really interesting. I really liked the first book, and I heard that it just gets better as you go, as you read book and book and book and book. It gets better, and I believe it because I did think Red Rising was good. So definitely will be picking those up for sure, especially because my brother is also reading those, and every time he reads something, I want to read it too. So there's that. Then there's another trilogy, but I only own books 1 and 3, so we'll see. But at the very least, for the summer, I want to read Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I don't know what this book is about, and I don't want to know. I've heard that we follow necromancers, and it is sci-fi, so I'm assuming either it takes place in space or in a different planet. I'm assuming it's a different planet. And book 1, we follow Gideon, and then I think we also meet our second book female character, Harrow. And then book 3, we follow Nona. What intrigues me about these books is that they're described as being amazing, and even though they're in the same universe, written by the same author, they all feel different. And I'm intrigued. I've heard that, one of them feels like super, I don't know, actiony, action-packed, while Nona feels more wholesome. I'm very curious, and I really, really want to read at least Gideon the Ninth during summer. I think it's going to be a really amazing read. I've been reading more sci-fi. I used to just be a fantasy girl, but I'm just getting a little bit more into sci-fi recently. And then when I read Project Hail Mary, that was so good. 5 stars. If you haven't read Project Hail Mary, you need to read it. It was so good. And then the last one that I have physically is also one that I've heard everybody loves it. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say anything negatively about this book, which I've heard about the others, mixed stuff, but this one I literally have never seen someone say something bad about it. It is The Will of the Many by James Islington. This book is book 1 in a series. I don't know how many books there's going to be, but right now we only have book 1. It is a hefty book. And from what I gather, this is Roman mythology inspired, but we follow, it's kind of like an academic setting. We do go to an academy. And from what I hear, this is just amazing. Like amazing. No notes type of book. And so I am very curious. Like I said, it is long, and even the pages, like the font is really small, but I don't care. I feel like I need to read this. I need to know what everybody's going on about. So moving on to the books that I don't own. I don't own them because they haven't released. So moving on to June 11th, we have Not in Love coming out, which is the latest of Ali Hazelwood's books. I've heard nothing but good things from the people that have read the arcs. Apparently it's amazing, and apparently it also deviates a little bit from her usual formula, her STEMness novels, and it's a little more spicy. It's a little different. So I'm definitely intrigued, curious, because I do like Ali Hazelwood's books. I read them all, I rated them, I ranked them, and I did like them. So I'm curious to see how much better this one is, because people really, really like it. In July, I think early July, we're getting Reckless, which is book 2 in the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts. I really want to read it. I loved Powerless. I gave it 5 stars. It's received some criticism, but I really liked it. I thought it was fun. And yes, it did remind me of the Hunger Games, and it did have all these elements, but I really liked it. It made me nostalgic, and I really liked the banter. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I did. It was for me, so I'm ready for Reckless. And I actually haven't even read Powerful, so I'll be reading that one too. But it got shipped to Texas, so once I get my book, then I'll read it. And Reckless, of course, because I'm super excited. I know that I'm probably gonna love it. On July 16th, I believe, we get Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. And I've heard that this is a really good book. I have her other book, Forget Me Not. I haven't read it. I have heard mixed stuff about that. Some people really like it, some people don't. But from what I gather, this one is really, really good from the people that have read the arcs. So I do want to check it out, especially because the cover has people playing stringed instruments. I used to play violin, so I think she's playing a cello. I can't think of the cover right now. I think so. So I want to read it, of course, and I'll be picking that one up for sure. And then lastly, on August 27th, we get Daydream, which is book 3 in the Icebreaker universe. What is it? Maple Hills, I think she calls it, by Hannah Grace. Icebreaker being book 1, Wildfire being book 2, and then Daydream being book 3. And in this one, we follow a character that I really, really have liked from the start. I loved Icebreaker. I think I gave it 4 stars. Loved it. Wildfire, I didn't really love. The main character, Russ, I just didn't really feel connected to, because he wasn't one of the core guys, you know, the guys that we were following around all along. He was kind of new. And then she made book 2 all about him, and then it wasn't even in the school setting, it was somewhere else. I don't know. I didn't love it, but this one I think I'm gonna love, because he's been one of my favorite, if not my favorite character from the start. I think, what was his name? Henry? It's been a while since I read them, but yeah, I think I'm gonna love this one. I'm so excited for it, and I'll definitely be picking this one up as soon as I can. So yeah, those are the 10 summer reads that I want to read. I know it's technically a little bit more than 10, because some of them do have more, like the Chestnut Spring series and stuff, but we'll say 10 that I want to read this summer. I'm going to try my hardest to get through all of these, because I told myself, choose the books that you think you will 100% read in the summertime. I don't like to leave out books. When I make TBRs, I like to actually finish them all out. But I think the new series that I'm starting on my channel, the Bookshelf Ultimatum, is really going to help out with that, because I intend to film a lot of those episodes to really help me get through my physical TBR. So thanks for hanging out. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye.